What's going on, everybody? The Bearded Q-Tip here, and today I'm going to be doing my very first review of a game, and today that game is going to be the Marvel Rivals Playtest. And I know that some of the things I'm going to talk about here are going to be subject to change when the game fully releases. However, this is just going to be based off of my experience mostly with the playtest itself, and I know what you guys are thinking. Now, who the hell he think he is, telling us what we can and can't play and recommend? I know he ain't got that many subscribers. There ain't no way I'm going to listen to him. Now, with that all being said, I kind of look at that as a gift more than anything, because of, with me not having a large following count, and, just kind of, starting off doing this, I feel as if that gives me more of a leeway of knowing that my opinion here is going to be unbiased and, as honest as I can make it based off of my experiences. With that being said, I am going to remind you, this is all just based off of my opinion. I could have been alone in some of the issues that I was having. I could have been alone in some of the praises I may have about this game. And overall, I'm going to try to give this as fair of a score as possible based off of my experience. If you guys find yourselves enjoying this video, make sure that you like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. But we're going to go ahead and get into it. And first things first, I'm going to start off with what I believe should be set as the minimum requirements and the recommended requirements for the game. Now, I know that it calls for 16 gigs of RAM. However, whenever I was trying to load into my matches and things like that, it would be an appalling wait time sometimes to actually get deep into the game. Sometimes the game will be going on for about 30 seconds to 2 minutes before I'm actually able to actually get in and play it. Now, like I said earlier, I do have 16 gigs of RAM, and I do meet the recommended for this game. And I just feel as if that recommended RAM should be up to about 32, mainly because of it, the rendering times were just straight appalling to me whenever I was starting up in my matches. And it would be just fine if this was just like a one-off thing, just happened every so often, but this happened to me every single match that I played in. But I will say, once I actually was loaded in and properly into the match, the game was just fun to play. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it being a fun game. However, there are some things that I believe should be changed about the game as well. I'm going to go ahead and say that I believe that some of the characters do need to be rebalanced, especially for the classes that they're a part of. The game has, your standard tanks, attackers, and support classes. And in some cases, the support and the tank classes were out-damaging majority of the attacking class, minus a few characters when the game was officially up and running and everything. So I feel as if, a couple of characters do need to be kind of reworked. I'm looking at you, Spider-Man, and I know I'm sounding like old school Green Goblin right now. I'll get you next time, Spider-Man. But I honestly believe that he should be reworked a little bit because of, for his mobility, he hits hard. And compared to a lot of the other damage dealers within the game, I believe Spider-Man hits harder than anyone. And second to him is going to be Frank Castle, also known as Punisher. I know I played a little bit as the Punisher, and when I say the going was good when you played with the Punisher. However, when it comes to Spider-Man, this man would hit someone with 4 hits within the damage class and would completely put them to waste, as to where it would take someone just constantly firing at Spider-Man, especially with his high mobility and high damage output. I get that he is a difficult character to master. However, the damage output shouldn't outweigh everything else. I know you want people to play with the more difficult characters and things like that. However, you can't just sit there and be like, because this character is difficult, we're going to make them one of the strongest characters in the game. As well as the support class needs to mainly focus on healing, as well as the tank classes need to focus more upon, as their name states, tanking damage. There's no way, shape, or form that the tank class should be out damaging the damage dealers as well as the support. The support should mainly be focused upon, the healing and things like that of the characters. I understand that, people are going to play the game however they're going to play it, but I believe those should be the main focuses of the character classes. If you're going to have a class system, then the character should be true to that class system. If you're going to have a tank, then they should be tanky, and then damage should come second. As where if you're going to have support, healing should be what their main focus is as a character, and then damage second. If you're going to have an attacker, then they need to be damage first, and then everything else that follows after. That also brings me to my next point of the fact that there are a lot of characters within the damage class that damage output is extremely abysmal. When I say some of the characters would be better off throwing rocks, some of these characters would be better off just throwing rocks at people. Now I'm looking at you, Star-Lord. Like, it's terrible sometimes, like when it comes to that damage output, and Namor, for instance, as well. Like, you're going to have characters within those classes, and they aren't doing much of anything. They're just there to kind of pepper people up a little bit and not actually take someone out. Also, with a lot of these characters that do have, some great ultimate abilities, some of these ultimate abilities, you might as well have postcarded it to, the enemy team before you even did your ultimate ability, because of how long the setup for it is. Like, if you're going to have certain things within the game, I feel as if they should be done properly. And I'm not saying that you guys don't know what you're doing over there at the studio, but I'm just saying that from a gamer to a developer, that some of these things need to be reworked. And I know a lot of people are going to kind of look at this and just go, oh, you're nitpicking. But I look at it as this. The same people that normally say things like that are normally the ones that once the game finally comes out and they try these characters out, or they're on the receiving end of some of these things from these characters, are the main ones that are going to take to the internet and start hate mongering when it comes to the developer, until the developer starts changing things that don't need to be changed, or getting things done that are the complete opposite of what needs to be done because of people are complaining too much about certain things. I believe this is something that they should get on top of before the game officially launches, because of it's something that it won't stop the game from being played early on, but it is something that could potentially end up getting the game to end up being shelved after so long, because of people will stop playing it because of the balancing issues. And I know there are going to be more characters to come, which is meaning that there are going to be a lot more rebalancing going on when those characters are finally released. But I think to go ahead and get your lineup that you currently have figured out and polished before you start releasing more characters for the game once it comes out would be one of the best moves to kind of do here. And again, this is all just based off of my opinion. Now, some of the good points that I honestly believe in when it comes to this game are going to be, when you're actually in the game and you're playing the game and, you're not having to face any of those kind of adversities, the gameplay is great and smooth. As well as, for the most part, most of the teamwork that comes from some of these characters and the people that are playing it is on par with a lot of other games. And this game feels like a successor to Overwatch, in my opinion, instead of Overwatch 2, which should be buried in a ditch somewhere and with a bullet between its eyes. But that's just my opinion. And the Steam reviews seem to think the exact same, with the overwhelmingly negative reviews. This is a game that I don't want to see go down that road that Overwatch 2 ended up going down, by doing too much too early, or coming up with a bunch of empty promises and things like that. I honestly believe this game does have a lot of potential, and it will end up, being something great as long as the developers listen to, all the players and actually, stick to their guns with a lot of these characters. A lot of the characters have a lot of vastness to them, and they have their own different look. They have their own different, playability and play styles. Other than the fact that a few of them do need to be reworked, it's going to be a very good game to play once it finally does come out. And with that all being said, again, this is just from the playtest. So all we have to do is kind of play this by ear and see what all the developers have in store for us. But my overall recommendation score for this game is going to be, how am I going to do this? I think I'm going to use Q-tips. Yep, I'm going to use Q-tips. So it's going to be 8 Q-tips out of 10. And the reasons why are going to be for, like I stated earlier, the rebalancing, the memory issues, and things like that. is a lot that can be reworked with this game, and the game has a lot of potential. And I do recommend, you know, kind of getting the game for yourselves, forming your own opinions about the game once it finally does come out. The game is going to be free on Steam once it releases, and I hope to see you guys there in the arena. But until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Looking up.